Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? Well, it is day 16 of RPGA a Day 2019, so we're kind of on the hump day. And our word for today is dream. This is probably one of my favorite prompts, if you will, for the entire event, although I like a lot of them. So, where do I begin? Ever since I was a kid, when I read stories, when I read books, it didn't matter if they were fiction or nonfiction. I could be reading books about explorers in the Amazon or paleontologists because I had a fascination with that as a kid, or World War One flying aces, or actually actual stories, whatever it happened to be, or maybe watching movies, maybe I watch Star Wars or whatever. Since I was a kid, because this still continues to this day, I've always wanted to be there. I didn't just want to be a helpless observer, a passive observer. I wanted to have my hands on the controls, if you will. I wanted to be able to try to shape events. I wanted to be part of the action. I wanted to be there. Even reading something like, the physicists at the turn of the century. I read something like that, complete nonfiction. I wish I was there. I wonder what that was like. I wonder what it was like to be them. And sometimes I wondered what it would be like to be me there, but oftentimes I wondered what would it be like to be like one of them, different than who I am. Very often, also when I've read stories, watched movies, all that kind of thing, especially serials or what have you, there gets to this point, or maybe it's just one book, where it's over, and you think to yourself, man, I wonder what happens next. They kind of left me hanging. And a lot of times, good books will leave you hanging. But I thought to myself, well, gosh, I wish I could be there and find out what happens next, or be in something similar. Because I found the world, the situation, the premise, whatever it was, so compelling, I would find myself daydreaming about that. And I still do that to this day. I'm not ashamed to admit it. And so enter role playing games. This is where we actually have the opportunity to be there, to be one of these other people in these different places. We get to find out what is it like to be there? What is it like to be a completely different person with a completely different background, different set of skills, whatever it happens to be, in this novel situation? What would it be like if I was in this situation where, like in Circle of Hands, where kind of might makes right, and anybody has the moral authority to step up and say, "Hey, enough is enough," especially if you're a Circle Knight, one of these people that's been maybe not charged with authority, but they have the ability to make a difference or to try to make a difference. Things like this are really, really compelling to me. Even something like Champions Now, which Ron Edwards is putting out, this idea that it's not a superhero game where you're supposed to be a superhero or and align to or like adhere to a code. But what would it be like one day if or if you were a person with powers? What would you do next? Broken Rooms, the list of games goes on. But these things, role playing games, one of the greatest things about them to me is the fact that they let us not just dream, but act upon those dreams, to be part of the action, to see what it would be like. And to me, that is a phenomenal part of this hobby and something that keeps me coming back again and again. And when I wasn't playing for a long period of time, it's something that I missed dreadfully. And so I'm glad I'm back. So here's to dreaming. What about you, kids? What do you think? I dreamt I could turn this off with flair.